Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it depends on so many factors, depending on how they cover it. It depends on the agency. It depends on the supervisor who's telling the officers exactly how they're going to proceed. We're seeing it speed up a little bit, and we're going to end up at Valley Circle here in a moment. They don't have any units at Valley Circle. But we see higher speeds, though, like we're seeing here for the moment. That just means more pressure on those tires and the rims, and it could indicate they're not going to be able to control the vehicle. You see some swerving there. Not sure if he's doing it on purpose, but you can see having a very difficult time controlling this truck. Now this is Valley Circle. If it continues with a right turn there, we'll be going back northbound, so back up into the Woodland Hills area. But we do have all the officers still right behind him at this point in time. And just to give you guys an indication, we have probably another 5 minutes maximum before we're going to have to break for fuel ourselves. And we're hoping he runs out of fuel before we do. $20. Yeah. Oh, there's not. Yeah. We're, yeah, we're going to try and get to the other side, and then we can get a better look at the two tires. The right front that's down to the rim, and then the other one you can see is about ready to lose the tire completely in the rear as well. And then it's really, 27 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour is fast when you're down to just rims and you can't control the vehicle. There's not a huge amount of traffic on Valley Circle right here. We're right in front of the high school. Unfortunately, they're not in session. I don't see a lot of traffic in the area, but you can tell right down to the rim. We had some smoke coming out a moment ago. At the higher speed, you start to see sparking. Sometimes you'll see a fire start. You start to see that rim will just unravel. And like I mentioned earlier, when the rim does get down to the right down to the axle, it's over. They're not going anywhere. But it certainly has taken a long time. And we've got patrol cars, for the most part, still right behind them, right in front of the high school here on Valley Circle headed northbound. But a pretty high rate of speed considering you're just on a rim there. Oh, the brakes. It's going to break. Yep. When he hits the brakes, one of these times, that rim is going to snap, and then it's over, okay? Because there's so much pressure on that rim. You can see it when he hits the brakes. And, officers right behind him, they realize he's having a hard time maneuvering. He's got the chin. You see how the rim is turned there? He's trying to maneuver the vehicle, having a very hard time. And they're just hoping this individual gets out of the vehicle and they can get this over without incident. It's gone on long enough. Nobody's got hurt. Let's just get this individual into custody. The vehicle's having a really hard time accelerating. Once it gets up to 27, 30 miles an hour, it's not too bad. But getting to that speed, you can tell is very difficult, especially it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. And once it's all the way down to the rim on the back tire, it's going to be very difficult for it to get going. And a couple more slams on the brakes like that, slamming on the brakes, and that rim could just collapse. It gets down to the axle, and the vehicle's not going anywhere. It certainly is. I mean, it could, it could go on for another hour. One time I followed a pursuit of a Land Rover that went down to the rim on the 101 North, all the way up into Ventura, and I believe it drove like 100 miles on the rims. So if you don't drive too fast, you can go for a long time. But slamming on the brakes is going to make that rim collapse at some point. We do hope it gets over soon because our ability to cover it here is going to diminish probably. I don't know, we have 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're close to Van Nuys Airport, so it's easy for us to duck in there and get fuel. We don't, have concerns, but once we get down to a certain point, we have to head that direction, and certainly we will. We did hear that they're going to call in SWAT. At this point in time, I don't really know what SWAT is going to do, and if SWAT's going to be activated, like to get in front of this guy. Maybe they're thinking that SWAT should be available if this turns out to be a standoff at some point. I really don't think that they would put an armored vehicle in front of this vehicle to try and stop it. I've never seen anything like that. But there goes the right rear, and when that tire comes off altogether and they're down to the rim, it's going to really diminish this guy's ability to keep going and to control the vehicle. Look outside, open up out of your shot a little bit. So we're coming up from here, I think maybe on Sherman Way, is it Sherman Way or Platte actually? On Valley Circle, it turns into Platte at Victory Boulevard. He's making a stop. There's an intersection here. There's 4 or 5 patrol cars behind him. Looks like he might be trying to make a right turn. We just don't know if it's making a right turn. He just can't control the vehicle, but it looks like a right turn now. Back to basically the same area where we saw most of this pursuit go. They can't control it. Sounds good. No way. Hold on a second. We're here, they might try and pit him. We want to be here for that. Can we go to the light? Are you cool? Or you want to go now? To go a couple minutes. Okay. How are they going to pit this guy? Seriously going to pit? No way. There's no way they're going to pit this. I can't believe that they could pit this. It wouldn't work. Yeah. Oh, the guy's a rookie. Oh, there we go. Get some speed up. He might crash. He might lose control of this vehicle. Are we still streaming, guys? I'm assuming that we are. So there was an officer was calling for the pit, and then I just couldn't believe that would be the case, and it's not. The supervisor said, no, you can't pit this guy. But we're seeing that, there you go, lost the tread altogether, down to the rim basically in the back. A lot of weight back there. It's a rear drive vehicle. That is really going to be difficult for him to continue. What's our speed tracker? What's our pace here? Because even at 35 miles an hour, that's pretty fast on the rim. One quick move with the steering wheel, the guy who's really been indecisive and fidgeting and really not in control of himself for the most part, one quick turn, this thing could flip over and you could cause the damage to the vehicles. You could hurt or even kill someone. We're on Victory Boulevard headed eastbound. We've been on Victory Boulevard several times in the Woodland Hills area. This has gone on for over 2.5 hours now. There was one accident involved. We don't think anyone was hurt. And coming to a stop will be interesting because once the vehicle stops, especially if it hits the brakes, you see so much pressure on the front rim, the right front rim that's lost the tire there. And then getting going is going to be difficult. To accelerate is going to be nearly impossible when the back is down to the rim. So a lot of factors going on here. Go ahead. You got it. Great job, Johnny. Very, very, very good job. Very good.